Sometimes when you just want comfort food, I think of the Penguin and let's go get, some fried pickles and a veggie burger and hang out. We'll probably see some friends we haven't seen in a while.
You come in every week?
Not every week, once or twice. Have a hot dog or a hamburger with lettuce, tomato, cheese, mustard, mayonnaise, and chili. And they know what I want when I walk in the door.
Oftentimes I find myself just getting up at 11:30 and heading towards the door and suddenly realize, whoa, what am I doing? I must be going to Al Mike's.
I started going to the Penguin in 2001 when Brian and Jimmy and Greg reopened it from the original owners. It became a local hangout for all of our friends and just a cool place to hang out. It's only like 10 tables in the place, and they're pretty small tables, so if you get the big table, you kind of score. People go, they know they're going to wait for a table at the Penguin, most likely. And they think that it's obviously worth the wait for them or they wouldn't keep coming back, and people drive from out of town just to come eat at the Penguin. If it was a 200-seat restaurant, it wouldn't be the same. I think small environment, it just works for them.
Two cheeseburgers, lettuce, mayonnaise, ketchup, fries, and cheese.
I went to a supper one night at church, and they had all these good hot dogs and hamburgers and fried sausage and stuff. And I said, "Where'd it come from?" And the owner here was supplying the men's bus. And he said, "Come on down and see me tomorrow." So I came down and been coming ever since. So a friend of this place sometime, they know your name, take care of it.
They not trouble. That right direction anyway.
Well, they got the best hot dogs and hamburgers in town, and they open early and see sausage and big biscuit here in the morning, and then they all go home at 2 o'clock. Well, if you're coming to Charlotte, it's a place to come to.
Alexander Michaels opened in April of 1983, and I started going when I moved to Fourth Ward in September of 1983. It was convenient, and if I ever had too many beers, it was very easy to stumble home. No matter when you go in there, there's an energy in Al Mike's. It's not a place where you'll sit down and chat with a friend for 3 hours, but there's an energy in Al Mike's that's exciting, and at the same time comforting, that I think really appeals to a lot of people.
Charlotte's a city of newcomers, and it's a city without a lot of natural coming together places. And restaurants, going back to the age of Shakespeare, have been places where people came together and found each other. We miss that here in Charlotte.
In many instances, I hear people say, well, I came from the north, and we have a lot of corner pubs and restaurants in the neighborhood in the north, and this is one of the few places in Charlotte that really has a feel of a neighborhood restaurant. And while Charlotte has a lot of really fine restaurants, they don't have too many small, comfortable, homey places.
Anybody need ketchup?
And I do take people from out of town. I always take them to the Penguin. I tell them it's like a throwback from the 50s, traditional diner style, and kind of reminds you of like rockabilly age, and 50s diner. And it's traditional, like paper plates and just straight up burgers. Everybody loves it.
A lot of these successful mom and pop restaurants focus on one cultural niche. The Penguin doesn't just have hot dogs, they have southern hot dogs from the Carolinas with the chili and the slaw and the onions. And that focus is part of the brand, it's part of the appeal, it's part of what lets folks know that this is a place where people care, where they're cooking out of their grandma's tradition rather than out of what's in the freezer.
Well, has this menu changed much since you started coming in?
I don't think it's changed at all, has it? I think they added barbecue. Yeah.
That was it, huh?
Yep.
Has that made a difference? Made it better or worse? Or?
It's always consistent. Probably about 5 pounds of this came from here.
Consistency is the thing that makes a restaurant go. People come this year and next year and get the same meal. I can't imagine what it's like to cook like that, but the creativity to get to that point is intense, to find what it is that you can reproduce that people will like.
You know, when you think about good, smooth Southern food like green bean casserole and grits, Al Mike's has got food that's got some tang and some bite and some spice to it. It's sort of an amalgamation of all types of cuisine.
There's just something rare about the Penguin that brings all walks of life there. Soccer moms and the bankers and the bikers and the, you know, hipsters. Everyone just wants to hang out and be cool and be tolerant of everybody.
I'm gonna put some rock and roll on the jukebox, because that's the kind of girl I am. It's full of rockabilly, rock and roll, punk rock. It's the best jukebox in town, hands down.
It cracks me up to hear the Sex Pistols playing on the jukebox with, you know, families sitting there, and to hear, you know, Johnny Rotten screaming and people just happily dining away, eating their corn dogs.
It's hip to love diversity, and the Penguin's Jukebox is a window on that musical diversity, and people look at that jukebox, they look at who's in there, and if that's their value, they know that's their place.
So you've been eating here for 34 years?
Yeah, since I was 6 years old. 40
Wow.
now. Dad used to bring me here when I was 6.
Good God. How often do you come in?
At least once a week. More if I'm lucky.
These eateries are a way to hang on to something familiar, something consistent. Street names change, who's here changes, the outskirts of the city keep rolling away from us. It's nice to have something we can hold on to.